All right, good morning, everyone. So here we are going to start a new section here about product and quotient of the derivative. So let me recall here what I gave you. I hope you are listening to the lecture that I recorded. I put it in Gallery My Media. So let me summarize what I gave you last time. So what I gave you last time here is what? I gave you shortcut formula. Shortcut formula. What is shortcut formula? Shortcut formula here is if you have f of x equal x to the power n, x to the power n, right? And then your derivative here is what? Is f prime of x is what? Is n x n minus 1, n x n minus 1, right? So that is the formula here. I try to see. Oh, I have recording here too, so that you can do both of them. All right. So hopefully everything will work. All right, so that is shortcut formula. That's what I give you. I said in here is it could be constant and any and also I give you, that's one rule. Rule number one, I gave it to you last time. Rule number two, I gave you also, if you have constant here, multiply by f of x, multiply by f of x, I need to take the derivative of that. That is the derivative of that. Then I mentioned the constant here. You can take it outside of your derivative. Take the constant outside of my derivative. So if I take the constant outside of my derivative, then what do you have left? Just f prime. So I can grab the constant outside of my derivative. Also, I mentioned to you the derivative of any constant, that is the derivative of any constant, just 0, right? The derivative of any constant should be 0. The derivative of any constant should be 0, right? That's very much the rule that I mentioned last time. So today here is number 2. If you have a constant multiplied by f of x, we mentioned to take the constant outside. So the question you are going to ask, what about if you have, if you have a function multiplied by another functions? So what happened if you have the derivative, or maybe sometimes I write prime, sometimes I write the d by dx. If you have f of x multiplied by g of x, right? If I need to take the derivative of this, then it turns out this one is not equal to f prime multiplied by g prime. It's not the same. So if you have f of x multiplied by g of x, you cannot tell me it's f prime and g prime. Right? We can create simple example for this one here, and you will figure out why this equal 1. For example, here if you take f of x equal x, and g of x equal x. So if I take f of x equal x, right, and g of x even equal x, just try to make it easy. Then what do you have here? You have x multiplied by x, right? So x multiplied by x. So what do you have? X, I need to take the derivative. So what is x? It will be x prime, and here x prime. What is x? What is the derivative of x here? And what is the derivative of x here? Right? So what is the power of x? 1. If I try to apply this rule, my n is 1, and then I replace your n1, it will be 1 minus 1, which is x to the power 0, which is just, so what I'm talking about here, if you have x1, I need to take the derivative, your n is 1. So you have 1, x, 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1. So what is that? It will be just 1. So x prime here, according to this rule, you have 1 multiplied by 1. What is that? It will be 1. But that is not equal here, because when I took f prime here and g prime, I got 1. But what is x multiplied by x? It will be x squared. Right? What is the derivative of x squared? What is my n? Your n here, I put n in front. So what do you have? You have x 2 minus 1. What is that? It will be 2x. So the left hand side, x multiplied by x, you get 2x. But the right hand side is what? Is, of course, is not equal 1. So f multiplied by g, when I take the derivative of that, is not f prime g prime. So what is the rule then? Here is the rule. It's called product rule. What is product rule here? I'm going to give it to you here, and then I try to practice solving some problem. Product rule. If I have a product like f multiplied by g, f here is a function in x, your g also is a function in x. If you have a product and here prime, that's a prime, the derivative of this, it turns out it will be f of x, the first one, multiplied by the derivative of the second one, plus the derivative of the first one multiplied by the function of the second one. So what I'm writing here is f of x, that is the original one, the function f, and then the derivative of the second plus the derivative of the first, and multiply by the second, So it's like you exchange or interchange your prime. So fg, and one prime for the second one, and one prime for the first one. So you could write it like this, or you can write it like the derivative d by dx, the derivative with respect to x, f of x multiply by g of x. I need to take the derivative of that. It will be f of x. I fix the first one, and then I take the derivative of the second one, plus, you have in the middle plus, and you take the derivative of the first one, multiply by the second one. So here, as you can see, one, I leave the function as it is, and then I take the derivative of the second, and then I took the derivative of the first and multiply by the second. That is called product rule. And then this product rule here, I need to apply some example to apply the rule here, so that you have feeling about how to apply this product rule, right? So let me give you one example here, how to apply this one here. So if you have, for example, here, they ask you find the derivative dy y equal dy by dx, okay? dy by dx means y prime, right? Y prime. If you have your y, if y equal, I'm just writing 4x squared plus x, and here x minus x squared. All right, so I have y equal 4x squared plus x multiplied by x minus x squared, right? So how to get this one? Some people say, okay, I'm going to can I expand the bracket? And then when I expand the bracket, I can take the derivative term by term. Yes, you can. That is correct, but it will be longer a little bit, but it's correct. So what I'm saying, some people say, can I expand the bracket 4x squared multiplied by x? What do you have? You have 4x cubed. 4x squared multiplied by negative x squared. So you have negative 4x squared multiplied by x squared. You have x to the power 4. And here you have x multiplied by x, you get plus x squared. X multiplied by x, you get x squared. Plus x multiplied by negative x, you have negative x cubed. Right? And then I can simplify this. Negative x cubed with 4x cubed. You have 3x cubed. Negative 4x to the power 4. And here plus x squared. Right? So that is your y. After I simplify, then if you can take the derivative, yes, you can. What do you have in the middle? Minus. What do you have in the middle? Plus. Then you have to go ahead and take the derivative term by term. That is correct. So this one here is correct. But if you try to apply the rule here, that's called product rule, without simplify, also it will be faster and simplify. So what do you mean here? Here you have a bracket multiplied by another bracket. A bracket multiplied by another bracket. So I take the first bracket, take the first one. The first bracket, call it f. The second bracket, call it g. So I'm going to take the first bracket, call it f. The second bracket, call it g. So what do you have? If f, the first bracket, which is 4x squared plus x, right? Then what is your g? What is your g? Your g here is, I'm going to write g here. Your g of x here equal x minus x squared, right? And then go ahead and take the derivative of that. What is your derivative? What is your f prime? What is the derivative of this one here? What is the derivative? Is the derivative of that just normal derivative? Can you tell me, guys? It will be 8x plus 1. 8x plus 1. That's good. 8x plus 1. So now, what is the derivative of g prime here? G prime, it will be 1 minus 2. Okay, 1 minus 2x. So that is your derivative for g prime. And then what I do, I do cross. As you can see, that's called product rule. And then I put plus. I do cross. Take this term, multiply by that, and take this term, multiply by that, but both between them plus. That is called product rule. So 4x squared plus x, right? So that is multiplied by 1 minus 2x. I did cross. What do you have in the middle? Plus. I wrote plus here. That is a plus I have. And then I did cross here too. I am doing cross here, right? So you have x minus x squared multiplied by 8x plus 1. 8x plus 1. Then you are done here. That is your y prime. So that it will be your f. That's called product rule. G prime plus f prime multiplied by g. F prime multiplied by g. Right? So that is your f, g prime. And then what this one? That is your g is okay. That is your g multiplied by f prime. It will be the same. Is okay because it's a number. So this one multiplied by that. Like g multiplied by f prime. Exactly f prime multiplied by g because the same, right? Like 2 multiplied by 3 equals 3 multiplied by 2, right? So that is called product rule. You don't need to simplify for me. If you apply the rules, it's okay. Up to here, just leave it as it is. You don't need to simplify. I give you full mark for this. So it will be f g prime plus g f prime, or just that's called product rule. And very simple, very easy compared to the, maybe some people say, oh, no, I like to simplify and take the derivative term by term. Is correct. This one is correct. And also this one here, but this one's simpler because you apply the rule right away. You apply the rule right away without simplifying. All right, I give you another example. Then I can give you some another rule is called quotient rule. So what is another example here? Your y equal 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared to the power 2. All right, what is the question here? Go ahead and find y prime, or sometimes we write dy by dx. Look what you have here. What I have here, it's a bracket multiplied by itself twice. So this one, it's 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared multiplied by 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared. So I have a bracket multiplied by itself twice, 2 times. And then again, you have the option here is to, in the exam here, I'm not going to ask you, just find y prime. I'm not asking you to use y prime, to use the product rule or use simplify. It's up to you. You can pick whatever you like. And at the end, it will be the same result, the same answer, right? The same number. So this one, if I try to apply product rule, f, g, here, that is your f and that is my g, right? Even you're the same. So if you want, you can write here, I can apply here is your product rule, y prime. What is y prime? It will be f, g prime plus f prime, g. So f, g prime plus f prime, g. So you can write it, you copy from up here in one step like this. F, what is your f? 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared multiplied by g prime. What is g prime? 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared prime. I put prime here. Look what you have. And the second one plus f prime, which is 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared prime. Here prime. That is your f prime. G. Just copy g as it is. 2x 1 over 2 minus x squared. Right? And then go ahead and take the derivative. Simplify here. This term exactly the same. Remember, I'm not asking you to simplify. What is the derivative of this? Look what you have. 1 over 2 here. That is my n. That's a constant. If you want, what you have in the middle, guys, minus. Then I have to take the derivative term by term. So the derivative of the first term minus the derivative of the second term. And here, I will do the same. 2x 1 over 2, derivative of that, minus x squared prime. Close the bracket, and then you have another bracket here. I just copy it. I'm just here. Some people say, can I do it in one step here? Yes, I'm teaching here. So I try to, some of you, they know this stuff. They have seen that before. Some of you, they haven't. That's the reason I have to be for everyone here. So I copy this one, this term, the bracket here, exactly the same. I'm just copy. So the derivative of this 2, I take 2 out. What is the derivative of this? It will be 1 over 2, x 1 over 2 minus 1. Here, what is the derivative of that? 2. That is your n. 2, x 2 minus 1. Close the bracket. And here, remember this derivative exactly the same here. So I try to copy that here. This derivative is similar, exactly the same like this one. So if I simplify this, 2 cancel is 2. What did you get? You get x to the power negative 1 over 2. 1 over 2 minus 1. 1 over 2 minus 1. It will be negative 1 over 2. And here minus 2x minus 2x. 2 minus 1, you get 2x. And then the bracket there, which is 2x 1 over 2, right, minus x squared, right? You don't need to simplify. Just leave it Leave it as it is. All right, that's very simple here. So you don't need to simplify this one here. Just try to rewrite it: x1 over 2 minus x squared, and this one, it will be x negative 1 over 2 minus 2x, and then this one here, I'm just copy negative 1 over 2 negative 2x, and this one here is 2x1 over 2 minus x squared. You leave it like this. If some people say, can I simplify? Yes, it will be nice if you can simplify, but up to here I give you full mark. What happens if you simplify? If you simplify incorrect, then unfortunately I have to reduce you because you simplify incorrect, right? So some people say, can I take this one? Look what you have, this bracket here, the same, and this one here, exactly the same like this one, right? So it's very much repeated. So which means it's 2, you can write 2 because this bracket, 2 brackets similar to those 2 brackets, and you have plus. So it's repeated twice. So I'm adding like this one, 2, and just it will be 2x1 over 2 minus x squared, x minus 1 over 2 minus 2x. That is after you simplify, but you don't need to do this. Up to here, just apply product rule. I am happy. You apply product rule, then I am happy. Okay, guys? All right. So now I have to give you another rules, what's called, and then I give you difficult problems. So I'm just give you the rule, solve some example, then I go for harder ones. The harder ones here, equation of the tangent line. So I encourage everyone to this course. It's not it's one piece. It's not like the other course. It's a flavor from everything. So you have to, I'm building. So if you have to be really good in shortcut formula. Then you have to study product rule and quotient rule today and before next class. Then I can build. I'm just building. If you are weak in one, then you are not catching, and you will see the course is really difficult because you are not building. So you take, as soon as I teach something, pencil and paper, try to listen to the class and practice some examples so that you feel good. So now I'm going to give you something that's called quotient rule. What is quotient rule, guys? Quotient rule. Quotient rule here, if you have a division f of x divided by g of x like this, what is the derivative of this? What is the derivative of f of x divided by g of x? It turned out is not the same. Here, I'm just warning, is not the same f prime divided by g prime. I cannot say that is equal f prime over g prime, and you can easily create simple example again. You can take f of x equal x, g of x equal x. You will see they are not the same. Simple example, if you take f of x equal x, just easy example here, g of x equal x, you will see that is very different. Look what you have. I'm just trying to show you they are not the same. What is f of x? If I take f of x equal x, what do you have? You have x. What is your g of x? X again. So that is prime. So this one is not equal x prime over x prime. X prime, what is the derivative of x prime? That is 1. What is the derivative of x prime? 1. So what did you get on the right hand side? Just 1. Let us look to the left hand side. X cancel with x. What did you get? You get constant. The derivative of any constant is 1? Is 0. So here, this one is 0. The left hand side, the constant 1 is 0. And the right hand side just 1. As you can I show you here, they are not the same. So f of x divided by g of x is not equal f prime over g prime. Is not equal f prime. So now the derivative, you can distribute it if you have in the middle plus or minus. But if you have a product, I cannot say, oh, the product here, it will be the derivative of the first one multiplied by the derivative of the second one. No, there is another rule. It's called product rule. Here for the division also, I cannot distribute the derivative. I cannot say, oh, the derivative of up, whatever I have up divided by the derivative, whatever I have down. That is not the same. Then what is the rule here? Is there any rule? Yes, that is called quotient rule. And that is the one here, we have to learn it. So that is called the derivative of, maybe I write f prime and then I write by d by x. So if you have f over g, the whole thing prime like this, then here is the rule. You square whatever I have down. Square whatever I have down, it will be g square. And then you have g f prime minus f g prime. How did I remember this one? Look what you have. You have start f over g. Then you take whatever I have down, which is g square. And then if you square whatever I have down, g square, I start with g. Look what you have. I start with g. Then g f prime. here you have minus. For the quotient rule, you have in the middle minus. For the product rule, you have plus. For product rule, you have plus, but for the quotient rule, or when you have division, you have minus. So I square whatever I have down, g square, and then I start with g. Look what you have. Start with g from the left, g f prime minus f g prime, which means you interchange the prime. Oh, g here, since I have g square here, then I start with g, then f prime. Then the other one minus f. Look what you have, the derivative, interchange. The first one, I don't have derivative for g, then you have to have for the second term here prime, and your f, it will be the same. That is the rule. So that is our rule. So if you can write it like this, or you can write it like f of x divided by g like this. Then you have to write it like this: g square g df by dx minus f dg by dx. All right. So that is the rule. It's called quotient rule, guys. And that is, we have to know how to apply this one. We have to know how to apply this one. And you have your own way. Every one of us has his own way or her own way to remember the formula, how to remember. Because this formula here is not one semester here. You are going to take one semester, and then as soon as you finish the course, everything you are going to forget. And if you need it in business, in economics or finance or something, one of the courses, and then you cannot recall. So it's good to remember how to get this kind of formula, or there is a formula for quotient rule. If you have a fraction like this, I know there is a formula for the derivative. And I remember this from high school, when I was in high school myself. Oh, g square, g, then f prime minus f, g prime, interchange the derivative. Look what you have, interchange the derivative, right? So that is our formula here. It's called quotient rule. Let me give you some example here for this quotient rule, so that you will have you can how to apply this quotient rule. Okay, and then I'm going to solve some problem from the textbook, and then we will go from easy one to harder one. Okay, so let me give you first one of the easy one. You have your y, example number 1. I'm going to apply this quotient rule. So you have your y equal to, I'm just writing here, 5x over x minus 1, right? Over x minus 1. It's a fraction. Yes, it's a fraction. It's quotient here. It means fraction. What is find dy by dx? I need to find dy by dx. All right? Find dy by dx. Or y prime, the same. So now, what do you have? You have fraction. Take whatever have up, that is your f. Take whatever have down, that is your g. So f, g, right? So f here, it will be 5x, right? So if you want, you can write it like this. Some people like to do more steps, but no mistakes, right? Like take f of x as 5x. Take whatever have up as f of x. Take whatever have down as x, g of x. Then I'm going to take the derivative separate like this. Oh, f prime, what is the derivative of this? It will be just 5. What is the derivative of g prime? G prime here, for g prime, it will be, the derivative of x is 1. What is the derivative of negative 1? Just 0. The derivative of any constant should be 0. The derivative, so x prime is 1, negative 1 here 0. So that is, you can do like this, and then here is the rule. Just replace f, g, and g prime, then you are done. Here is the rule. It will be, right, so I have 5x minus over x minus 1 prime. So g square, take whatever have down square, so you have x minus 1 square, x minus 1 square. So here is the rule, g square, g f prime minus f g prime. So take whatever I have down square, then I start with x minus 1, g prime, that is your g, f prime. F prime you can copy from here. Look what you have, f prime. So f prime, so which is 5 from here, minus, that is what you have, minus in the middle here, minus. So then what you have, f, what is your f? 5x. G, what is your g? G prime, which is x minus 1, which is 1, just 1. You can do it like this, right? And then you are done. You know, you don't need to simplify. So that is my g, this one g square, and then that is your g, f prime, minus f, g prime. That is your f, g prime. You follow, guys? I'm writing like this. Then you are done you can do it like this way. And then I'm going to, you can always ask me, guys, if you have any question, just let me know in the chat here. How did we get the derivative of 5x equal 5? Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm glad that you asked. So how did I get 5x equal 5? All right, so here, let me explain. If you have 5x here, so I'm done here. So what is the derivative of 5x? Here the problem is solved, right? So this one here is done. So what is the derivative of 5x? 5x. I mentioned, you have to, any class I give it to you, you have to study before I give it the next class. Why? Because I'm building. So here I said 5 multiplied by x. 5 multiplied by x. You have a constant, multiply by x. If you go up, I said if there is a rule. If you have a constant, multiply constant. That is one of the rule of previous class. Multiply by f of x. The derivative of that's prime. The derivative of this, you can take the constant outside of your derivative. Take the constant outside. What do you have left? F prime. What do you have left? Whenever you have a constant, multiply, then grab the constant outside. So now, what is the constant here? 5. What is your f of x? X. So what is the derivative of this? Take 5 out. I grab 5 out. So what do you have left? X prime. So what is x prime? X prime here it's 5 multiplied by x. What is the power of x here? The exponent of x, 1. I need to get the prime. Here is the rule. If you have n here, the rule here, if you have x to the power n, the rule of this, the derivative of that will be n, xn minus 1. N x minus. So what do you have? 1. So what do you have? You have 5. What is your n? What is the exponent of n? 1. So what is your n here? That is our case 1. So you have 1 and x to the power 1 minus 1. What is 1 minus 1? What is n minus 1? N minus 1. So you have 5, right? 5. And here x to the power 0. What is x to the power 0? Anything to the power 0 is 1. Anything to the power 0 is 1. So that is the reason you get 5. The derivative of 5x, I'm applying this rule, you get just 5. Then I go back here, just the derivative of 5x equal 5. Likewise here, what is the derivative of x minus 1? The derivative of x minus 1, x minus 1 prime. What do you have in the middle? Minus. Then you take the derivative of the first term. If you have in the middle minus or plus, take the derivative term by term. So the derivative of x minus the derivative of the second term. What is the derivative of x here? Look what you have. What is your x? X to the power 1, right? That's a constant. I mentioned the derivative of any constant should be 0. The derivative of any constant should be 0. All right? So x prime, what is your n again? Here is the rule I'm applying. Your n is what? Is 1. What is here? And 1, it will be n minus 1. So you get 1 minus 1, which is 0 again. X to the power 0, which is just 1. So here that is 1, multiply by 1, you get 1. The reason you have the derivative of any constant is 0, why is that? You can ask a question for those people, they haven't watched my previous class or last time. Why the derivative of 1? 1 here, I could write it as 1. I could write 1 as 1, x to the power 0. X to the power 0. X to the power 0 is what? X to the power 0 is 1. So what is the rule here? What is my n? What is your n here? 0. Your n here, if I compare, 0. So what is the derivative of that? I should write 0. I put 0 in front. That is your n. What is my n? I put n in front. And here, 0 minus 1. 0 multiplied by anything. What did you get? You get 0. 0 multiplied by anything, you get 0, right? So that is the reason we mentioned the derivative of any constant should be 0. All right? Is that clear? Okay. All right. And that is okay. You can keep asking here. I'm happy when you ask a question here, guys. Feel free to come to my office, ask questions, because that is the way learning, right? And I encourage you to ask. All right. So do not say, "Oh, I'm afraid that's a silly question." No. That is the way that we learn. If you don't ask, you are not going to learn, and then you are wasting your time. And then always when you study, keep asking why. When you keep asking, repeating why, then you will learn. Most of the time, when you put question mark when you study in your textbook, most of the time maybe it's not clear or you don't know the answer. But later, because you put question mark not in your textbook, you put it in your brain. And then as soon as you figure out the answer, it's not easy to forget. All right? So let me give you harder ones, various problem here, so that we try to catch. All right? So here, I gave you maybe just try to apply another example here for quotient rule, and then I go for harder ones. All right? So what is another quotient rule here? I try to solve even problem. So here, that is in your textbook, number 36. Number 36 in the textbook. So what do you have? You have y equal x minus 5 over 8 square root of x. 8 over square root of x. All right? So I need to take, what is the question? Find y prime. So here, how to simplify this one here? This one here, it's up to you. You can, sometimes people have good skills. They know how to simplify. Then they say, I'm going to simplify. Then when I simplify, maybe I try to avoid quotient rule or product rule. Yes, some people, they don't like to apply quotient rule because it's a fraction and all of this. How to simplify this before I take y prime? X minus 5. Here 8 square root of x. So what is square root of x? Can I write square root of x as x to the power 1 over 2? Can I write x? So yes, you can. So now up to here, I could apply here what's called here quotient rule. So this one here, that is your f divided by g. It's take this one here as f and take this whatever I have down here as g. So my f here, if I try to apply quotient rule, what is the derivative of quotient rule? F over g. It will be g square. You see, g square. I start with here g, so I square it, g square, and then g f prime minus f g prime. That is the rule, right? I square whatever I have down, then I start with g, not g squared, g, and then f prime, and then interchange your prime, fg, but put in g. Here g does not have prime, but here you must have prime. That is called quotient rule. So now you can apply this in one step, like look what you have. Take whatever I have down, that is your g, which is 8x 1 over 2 square. Square whatever I have down here, which is 8x to the power 1 over 2 square. And then take g, what is your g? 8x 1 over 2, multiply by f prime. What is f? X minus 5, the whole thing prime. X minus 5, take f, whatever I have up, x minus 5 prime, minus, I put minus sign here, and then just f. What is your f? X minus 5. What is your g prime? G prime, it will be 8x 1 over 2 prime. 8x 1 over 2 prime, right? That is called apply quotient rule in one step. And now, just you need to take the derivative. You don't need to simplify, but you need to take the derivative. So what is the derivative of x minus 5? So here, the derivative, if I try to do, for those people try to follow me, x minus 5 prime. So what you have in the middle, minus, then I have to take the derivative of the first term, minus the derivative of second term, right? I take the derivative term by term. What is 5? Constant. I mentioned the derivative of any constant should be 0. So what is x prime? X prime is 1. Remember, x prime is 1 because you have x to the power 1, right? Prime. So what is your n? 1. I put 1 in front and then 1 minus 1. Then what did you get? You get x to the power 0, which is 1. X to the power 0, which is 1. Multiply by 1, you get 1. So x minus 5 here, you get 1. And 5 prime is 0. The derivative of any constant should be 0. Last one here, 8x to the power 1 over 2 prime. What do you have here, guys? You have a constant. Multiply by, I'm just read that loud so that you can recall which rule I can use. 8 multiply by x to the power 1 over 2. Then I can grab 8 out. Then what you have inside x1 over 2 prime, right? Is if you have a constant multiply, you can grab the constant outside of your derivative. Then here is the rule. What is your n? 1 over 2. So you have 1 over 2, that is my n, 1 over 2, and then I have to reduce that by 1. I have to reduce n minus 1. So now if I simplify this, you have 8 multiplied by 1 over 2, you get 4. 1 over 2 multiplied by 8, you get 4. And that is x to the power negative 1 over 2. You can use decimal. 1 over 2 minus 1. Some people can say, can I write negative 0.5? Yes. You can write it as a decimal when you try to use your technology. Now, since you have the derivative here, guys, I could go up here. That is my derivative here. I simplify this. Look what you have. So you will have here 8y prime. It will be y prime, right? So what do you have here? 8x 1 over 2. What is the derivative of x minus 5? From here, you get 1. You get 1 minus x minus 5. X minus 5 multiplied by x minus 5 multiplied by 8x to the power 1 over 2. That is the derivative. I'm just copying from here. 1, I don't know why it's not writing here. 4, it will be 1 over 2. And the whole thing divided by 8x 1 over 2 is square. Right? You don't need to simplify. Up to here, I give you full mark. It's very, just apply the quotient rule and just get the derivative and leave it as it is okay. Right? Leave it as it is. It's okay because we don't need. I'm going to separate every question in the exam. If I try to apply product rule, quotient rule, right? So you don't need to simplify because I'm just testing you for the rule, right? For the rule. But I'm not going to ask you, okay, use quotient rule, use product rule. No, I'm just asking you find the derivative, and I'm going to give you several tools for the derivative, and you can pick whatever you like. As soon as you take the derivative will be at the end will be correct. The same. It will be the same. If I solve it in one way, you solve it another way. At the end, we will get the same method. Okay, guys. So now I need to get. I gave you product rule. I gave you quotient rule. So let me solve a problem where you can apply both. I need to apply both of them in one problem. For example, here, number 40. I think number 41. I try to solve even problem here, guys, instead of solving odd problems. Okay, here I'm going to solve number 42. Number 42 in the textbook. What is that? You have y equal 9x minus 1, 9x minus 1, and 3x plus 2. The whole thing divided by 4 minus 5x. All right? So that is, if you look to this, it will be y prime. What is the question? Find y prime. Or sometimes we write find dy by dx. Find dy by dx. Okay? So now, just let me give you a hint here. Could you please repeat the previous problem? Which one? Which problem? I'm sorry, sir. Could you please repeat the problem once again? Okay, I don't mind. Which one I can repeat here? Just let me know which one I can repeat it here before I give you another one. This one? Is that the one here? This example here? All right. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So let me repeat this one then. What you have? You have x minus 5 divided by. You see, I want for you to note something here, guys. You read the question loud, little bit loud, so that you can hear yourself. You see, x minus 5 divided by. When I say divided by, right away use quotient rule. Right away use quotient rule. When you hear multiply, then you use product rule. So, okay, whenever you hear multiply, product rule. Whenever you hear divided by, quotient rule. Okay? So here, x minus 5 divided by 8 multiplied by square root of x. Right? So now you have a fraction. I said divided by. Then I have to use quotient rule because I heard word divided by. X minus 5 divided by 8 multiplied by square root of x. Square root of x here is nothing but it will be x to the power 1 over 2. Square root of x is nothing but x 1 over 2. So here you have 8 multiplied by x to the power 1 over 2. Right? You agree about this? And then take whatever I have up, that is your f. Take whatever I have down, that is my g. F divided by g. What is the rule? Since it's called quotient rule, here is the rule. That is something we are going to apply. F divided by g, the derivative of f divided by g should be g square whatever you have down. Then you have g f prime minus f g prime. So now, what is your g? That is your g here, your g, whatever you have down, that is your g, which is 8x to the power 1 over 2. That is your g. This one here, whatever I have up, that is your f. Whatever I have down, that is your g. So your g, 8x to the power 1 over 2. Your f, x minus 5. Your f here, it will be x minus 5. Then what you have, according to the rule here, I need to know f prime. I need to take the derivative of x minus 5 here. And then I need to know g prime. F prime and g prime. As soon as I know f prime and g prime, then I plug here these equations. Look what you have, g square, it will be, what is your g? 8x 1 over 2 square. G, that is my g, the rule, g f prime. F prime here, look what you have, I put f prime. Maybe I use different colors for prime. Okay, so that is your red here. So f, that is your g here, f prime, and then f g prime, f g prime. All right, so that is the rule. So this one here, the red, it will be g square, g square. So you have g square, I wrote it in red, and that is your g f prime. So now I need to know what is the derivative of x minus 5. I did that separate here. Look what you have, the derivative of x minus 5, I say prime. What you have in the middle, minus. Then I have to take the derivative term by term. The derivative of first term minus the derivative of second term. What is x prime? X prime is x to the power 1 prime. So what is the derivative of that? According to the rule, shortcut formula, I put n in front. That is your n. And then your exponent reduced by 1. N minus 1. It will be 1 minus 1. So what do you have? What is 1 minus 1? 0. So you have x to the power 0. What is x to the power 0? Is 1. X to the power 0 should be 1. Anything to the power 0, anything to the power 0 should be 1. So what is the derivative of 5 prime? The derivative of any constant should be 0. The derivative of any constant should be 0. If you look to my previous class lectures that I recorded, I mentioned that the derivative of any constant should be 0. So what is the derivative of x minus 5? It turned out just 1. Then I go back here, x minus 5 prime, I replace it by 1. So that is 1. Look what you have, 1 multiplied by 8, x 1 over 2. That is what you have here. And then I need to get the derivative of 8, x to the power 1 over 2. Why I need to get the derivative 8, x 1 over 2? That is what you need, g prime. This one is called g prime. That is prime here. There is a prime here, right? So I need to get the prime of this. Whenever you have a constant multiply by something inside the derivative, then you can take the constant outside of my derivative. So I grab 8 out. When I grab 8 out, what do you have left? You have x to the power 1 over 2 prime. X to the power 1 over 2 prime. What is your n? Your n here 1 over 2. The exponent, what is my exponent? 1 over 2. Then here is the rule, 1 over 2, I put it in front. And then I reduce 1 over 2 minus 1. 1 over 2 minus 1. N minus 1. N minus 1. So now, what do you have here? 8. 8 multiplied by 1 over 2, what do you have? You have 4. 8 multiplied by 1 over 2, you can use technology, get 4. And then 1 over 2 minus 1. 1 over 2 minus 1, what is that? 1 over 2 minus 1. Then you have 1 over 2 minus, you can write minus 1 as 2 over 2. 2 over 2. Then if I combine those together, you have 1 minus 2, which is negative 1, divided by 2. So, or just use, if you like to use decimal, 1 over 2 minus 1, you get negative 0.5, which is okay. You write it as it is. So that is our derivative here. Then I go back to the formula, replace g prime by 4x to the power negative 1 over 2. You are done. So here, this one, here it should be negative. So you have, here is your quotient rule here, 8x 1 over 2. The derivative of x minus 5 is 1. Just 1. And here x minus 5, g prime, what is g prime? 4x to the 1 negative, that's come from here. Then you are done. Then you are done. You don't need to simplify or anything. Just leave it as it is. Is that clear here? Or you tell me if something is not clear. You tell me. All right? Is that everyone here? Is that okay? All right. Thank you. All right. So now I keep continue then. For the other one here, other example here, look what you have. I want for you to understand how we do this. Look what you have. Read the question loud a little bit so that you can hear yourself. You have a bracket, 9x minus 1, multiply. You see, when you hear the word multiply, then you must really know there is a product rule involved. You must have product rule. 9x minus 1 multiply by, another bracket 3x plus 2. And the whole thing divided by 4, the whole thing divided by, did you hear divided by? Oh, quotient rule. So here I heard multiply, product rule. I heard divided by, quotient rule, which means I have to use those two rules to solve this problem. I must somehow use product rule and quotient rule. Some people say, well, can I avoid product rule here? Yes, you can. Some people say, can I expand this bracket, two bracket? Can I simplify before I take the derivative? Yes, you can. If you simplify those two brackets, then you are going to apply only quotient rule, not product rule, right? But if you leave it everything as it is, then you have to apply product rule and quotient rule. You follow, guys? So here, a bracket multiplied by another bracket, that is multiplied by another bracket. You see, as soon as you hear multiply, product rule. And the two bracket divided by 4 minus 5x were divided by quotient rule. So now, if you try to say, I'm going to simplify this, yes, you can. So it will be 9x multiplied by 3x and expanded. So 9x multiplied by 3x, you get 27x squared. 9x multiplied by 3x, you get 27x squared. 9x multiplied by 2, you get plus 18x. Negative 1 multiplied by 3x, you get negative 3x. Negative 1 multiplied by 3x, you get negative 3x. Negative 1 multiplied by 2, you get negative 2. The whole thing divided by 4 minus 5x. So just I expand the bracket. Why? Because you try to avoid product rule so that you can use only quotient rule. Now we have 27, right? 27x squared. And 18x minus 3x, you get plus 15x. And here minus 2. The whole thing divided by 4 minus 5x. Right? That is your y. Yes. So now what did I change the picture now? You have one term, 27x squared plus 15x minus 2 divided by 4 minus 5x. Then I have only, I heard word divided by only, which means quotient rule. So no product rule now after this step, right? So now which one is f? You take whatever I have up, that is your f. That is my f. So maybe I use different colors. So this one here, that is your f. That is my f. Whatever I have down here, that is your g, right? That is your g. F divided by g. The rule y prime, it will be, right? It will be g square, g f prime minus f g prime. That is our quotient rule, Then what is your g square, guys? Here, g square, it will be, right, 4 minus 5x, 4 minus 5x squared. That is my g square. G, which is 4 minus 5x, that is your g, 4 minus 5x multiplied by f prime. What is f prime? 27x squared plus 15x minus 2 prime. There is no room here, so you have minus. I should write f g prime, right? So here, I should moving up a little bit so that you can, maybe I do this, move it so that you can see the whole rule here. So y prime here, guys, y prime, it will be g square. That is your g square here. So just copy from up, it will be 4 minus 5x squared, right? G, what is your g? It will be 4 minus 4 here, minus 5x, and multiply by 27x squared plus 15x minus 2 prime. Just I put prime here, minus, what is the sign here? Minus, and then f. What is your f? 27x squared plus 15x minus 2 g prime. What is g prime? It will be 4 minus 5x prime here, right? So I have to get prime here. What is prime here? So you have 27x squared plus 15x minus 2 prime, right? I need to take the prime, the first prime here. What is the good news? You have in the middle plus, you have in the middle minus. It means you take the derivative term by term. What is the derivative of first term? You have 27x squared prime plus 15x prime minus 2 prime, right? The third term prime. That's a constant. What is the derivative of any constant? Should be 0. 27, that's a constant. I can take that outside of my derivative. So what do you have left? The derivative of x squared. 15, I can grab it outside. So what do you have left? X prime. here. Take 15 out, what do you have left? X prime. Take 27 out, you have x squared prime. So what is the derivative of this? 27. The derivative, what is your n? 2. So you have 2 minus 1, right? N, I put n in front and reduce n by 1, n minus 1, 15. And here, what is the derivative of x to the power 1? Is 1. You have 1, x 1 minus 1, which is 1 minus 1, it's 0, x to the power 0, which is 1. If I simplify that, you get 54x, and here what you have just 15. So that is my derivative. I just copy there, right? What is the second derivative? 4 minus, I need to get 4 minus 5x prime, and then you are done, right? So if I do that here, 4 minus 5x prime. Again, what is the good news? You have in the middle minus, take the derivative term by term. So you have 4 prime minus the derivative of 5x prime. That's a constant. What is the derivative of any constant? Should be 0. And then you have negative outside. 5 multiplied by x, I can take 5 out. So you have negative 5. And then what you have x prime? The derivative of x prime is what? Is just negative 5. X prime is 1. The derivative of x prime is 1. So I got negative 5. So now I go back here, right? I go back here and then just replace here. I put it in green. So here, this one, replace it by 54x. And this one here, replace it by negative 5. And then you are done. All right? So go ahead and replace this term in green here by 54x plus 15. And replace 4 minus 5x prime from the derivative here by negative 5. Then you are done. Okay, guys? Do you have any question for this part so far here, guys? Do you have any question for this part? All right. All right. Very good. So some people interact. All right. All right. Okay, then I will stop here. We continue next time in the class on Thursday. Then I will give you the class. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will see you guys on the second class. All right. Thank you.